stakeholder, what's their role in this ecosystem and how they work together?
So obviously, as I talked about in my presentation, you need the content creators first and foremost because content is very important. If you don't have the content, it's really not going to drive much of the traffic. And as there becomes more and more content, it's going to attract more and more users. So obviously, this is the basis for it. But I think platforms still play a very important role. Just from Castbox, for example, we actually have a feature called in-audio search, and this uses something called natural language processing, which allows you to search within the audio. So, for example, while we're talking right now, in spoken words, it will transcribe the audio into text and become searchable. So if I say the word blockchain, I can pinpoint the exact minute and second that the word blockchain is said. And so my point is searching for the content becomes very important. And this is something that platforms are still needed because it connects the consumers with the content players. So what we're doing at Content Labs, we're not saying platforms we want to completely get rid of. They still have their value and their uses. Technology is a very important aspect of that. We want to streamline the process, but I want to make that clear that content platforms still have their use, and of course advertisers, because advertising provides money, and users can donate money to content creators directly, but advertisers has always been a way for content creators to make money, and in our ecosystem, it'll be much more efficient, as I mentioned, because you can track real statistics. The statistics won't be able to be manipulated anymore because it's much more transparent on the blockchain.
So we're talking, I'm speaking English because it's a little bit more convenient for me. So you mentioned that it would be more transparent on the blockchain. How does that differ from what Google Analytics and YouTube currently already does in the sense of sharing your content-based information? I mean, YouTube has it down almost down to a science in their algorithm that you get to know the age group of your consumers, and you get to know their watch time and exactly from when to when they tuned in and how you can change that perspective.
I think Google definitely has a very good platform, but I also believe that there's definitely ways of manipulating it. And I think by utilizing a blockchain and then having smart contracts write in maybe all of the rules and all of the rules for it, it's hard to manipulate. I know, for example, that it's very easy to write a bot to maybe add in more users or make something like have a higher view count or something. So I think in that regard, manipulation, this is something that can be made even better.
아프리카 TV 자회사입니다. 프리크 MC 회사고요. 제가 궁금한 건 아까 이제 발표하신 건 좀 잘 들었고요. 그러니까 이제 BJ 크리에이터의 입장에서 한번 생각해 보면 이제 컨텐츠 박스 또는 이제 캐스트 박스를 통해서 기존의 이제 유튜브의 광고 모델이라든지 아프리카 TV의 이제 별풍선이라고 하는 별도의 수익 모델과 컨텐츠 박스에서 말하는 이제 블록체인 기반의 이제 일종의 수익 모델, 암호화폐 기반의 차이가 훨씬 더 클 거다라고 생각하시는데 이 분야에서 바라보시는 좀 기대치, 그러니까 어떤 부분에서 큰 차이가 있을지에 대한 부분도 오히려 크리에이터 입장에서 가장 궁금한 방향입니다.
So next question is, I think Kelvin, you mentioned some problem that the current digital content industry is facing. So I just want to share your opinion as content creator, also platform. What are the current problems and how do you think the blockchain can help to solve the problem?
Shall we go first this time? There are a lot of ways. There are a lot of problems and there are a lot of methods that blockchain can be used to solve issues, whether for content creators or content platforms. One issue would be identity. There's big data. Everyone here in this room, I believe, has a cell phone. Whether you use YouTube or Africa or any other company that's currently out, even your email, or even when you sign up for a credit card, you sign away the rights to your own personal information. Recently, Facebook was held in front of the Senate to speak of this, and it's about who has that control. It's about the lack of trust, and it's the fact that when using blockchain, you don't need trust anymore. It's math. It's logic. I feel like there are so many solutions, even whether it's in the industry or in any other industry, that the blockchain can solve. As a content creator, in my own personal opinion, or even as a businessman in the field of blockchain, there are ways to moderate and cut out the middleman. For example, the advertising companies. Those ad revenues are owned by the platform in most other cases. But there are ways to make it so that those ad companies have to interact with both the user and the platform. So that every time that someone uses a creator's content to market themselves, that the creator and the user who watches the content can benefit.
제 생각에는 아까 이제 말씀하셨던 것 중에 이제 뭐 플랫폼 회사가 기본적으로 유저하고 그 창작한 크리에이터 중간에서 일종의 중개 역할로서 기본적으로 플랫폼을 제공하고 일정의 이제 수수료를 받는 구조가 지금 현재 대부분의 이제 플랫폼 회사가 갖는 이제 비즈니스 모델인데, 기본적으로 여기서 이제 블록체인이 기본적으로 베이스가 된다면 이제 중개형에 대한 분들의 이제 모델이 과연 앞으로 존재할 거냐, 존재할 수 있겠느냐라는 부분의 것들이 이제 앞으로 추세를 이야기하는 부분이고, 그게 일정 부분의 해결책이 될 수 있다라고 생각하고 문제를 풀 수 있다는 측면이 들긴 하는데, 또 한편 그게 과연 이제 지금 현재 블록체인이 가는 방향에 맞게끔 정확하게 그걸 해결할 수 있느냐, 그게 확실한 기술이 될 수 있겠느냐라는 부분은 아직 불확실성이 좀 존재하기 때문에 이 플랫폼 회사에서는 그런 부분에 대한 기대도 있지만 조금 어려운 부분, 또 관련돼서 불확실성이 갖는 걱정 부분이 좀 있지 않나 이런 생각입니다.
We talk about like how blockchain can actually benefit a lot of key stakeholders, including like advertisers or content creator and content users, and also planning. Who do you think is going to be the most beneficiary stakeholder among all these key stakeholders?
This is a question that I actually was thinking of asking, but I didn't want to ask because it's a scary question. Everything is monopolized in every country. That includes, the biggest search engine in Korea is what? Naver. Tunamu, they own Kakao, they own Naver, and they own one of the biggest YouTube current coin exchanges in the world. So everything is monopolized, including user information. So realistically speaking, depending on what kind of system that you're running, I'm going to go into blockchain terms here, whether you're running a POS system, a DPoS system, a PBF key, it's really going to depend on who has authority. And that is the biggest issue in blockchain currently, is decentralizing and the standard for decentralizing so that everyone can benefit. But currently, the standard is that the 1% benefit of the general population, and you can quote me on this, and it's that the point of blockchain is to try to make it so that the 99% can benefit. What technology has existed within the 20th century, aside from internet, where it can literally make banks and entire governments partially fear where technology will go? I feel like that becomes the biggest issue here, and this is asking the entire question of how blockchain works. So,
I think that's a great point. I also want to add that blockchain. I think it's still going to be at least 3 to 5 years before we start seeing really widespread use cases. It goes like this. If you think back to computers when they first started, Windows revolutionized computers because it made it easier for everyone to use it. Before, you have to type, on a screen. By Windows introducing a GUI user interface, everybody can use it. It's very intuitive. But I think with blockchain, right now, first of all, a lot of people, the mainstream people, maybe don't know what it is. They have a hard time understanding it. I talk to my friends. I talk to them for 5 minutes about blockchain. They have no idea what I'm talking about. So I think to see widespread adoption, it's going to take some time, for things to catch up, right? Another example, back in the internet age,